You are listening to the Little Psychic Podcast with June Mack, which was formerly known as the Fully Woo Podcast. I hope you enjoy. Hi there, I'm your host June Mack, and you're listening to the Fully Woo Podcast. I'll be talking about all the fun woo-woo things in a down-to-earth, bright, light-hearted and easy to navigate way. Hopefully, I'll be able to help you ignite and light the way on your own spiritual journey and evolution too. In today's episode 11, called Marrying a Muggle, my interview with Mr. Mack, or my partner or my husband, I talk about what happens when your significant other is a non-magic folk. A never meditated in his life, non-woo-woo, wouldn't know a chakra if it fell on him, car-loving guy, to be exact. I personally believe me and Mr. Mack have found a pretty happy medium, no pun intended. Join me in this interview with my beautiful husband as I ask his point of view on the whole woo-woo spirituality, being married to a psychic thing. How's life being partnered with someone like me? Has he ever thought I was just losing my marbles? How does he cope with all of the weird stuff, or what other people might perceive to be weird? And what's his advice to other partners who may not understand or even believe what all the fuss is about spirits anyway? I hope you enjoy this sneaky little peek into our relationship. Please enjoy. Learn how to develop your psychic abilities with me. Today's episode is brought to you by Guided, my online group psychic training program. We start this November 22nd, and for 5 weeks, I'll be taking you through from scratch how to vibe up, connect with your guides, awaken and level up your own psychic abilities. Be part of a fun online group environment, make new friends and receive stacks of support along the way. This program boasts heaps of amazing feedback and awakened a bunch of new psychics, intuitives and mediums in its round 1 earlier in the year. It's suitable for beginners, it's capped at a smaller group size, so make sure you get to your spot via junemack.com/programs or via the show notes. Hello and welcome to episode 11 of the Fully Woo Podcast. I'm your host, June Mack, psychic and energy healer, psychic development teacher, and your intuition ignition. I'm really excited today because I have a very special live guest who is actually sitting right next to me and is so super pumped to be here. My very cute husband, the Mr. Mack, who I call Macca or Mac, not by his actual name. And he has agreed to allow me to interview him about what it's like being married to a psychic or an intuitive or a fully woo kind of woman. I have previously heard about couples who are, maybe one of them is a shaman and one of them is an aura seer, or one of them holds women's circles and then the other partner is like a full yogi. But what about all of you ladies or men who are fully into spirituality or fully into the woo and have a partner who is a barista like mine or a muggle? And I mean that in the most non-offensive way. It's just my tongue-in-cheek way that I sometimes use to describe someone who isn't super spiritual. And most people that I know are muggles, or another word that some people in the spiritual community use are normies. And they are just as special. Most of my friends, family are all muggles. We need them just as much as we need the fully woo people. I just can't be bothered saying not spiritual over and over again, so it's easier for me to call him a muggle. Plus, they can be a little bit spiritual as well, which I think you are. Hi.
Hey.
So there are also some of you out there who probably have partners, and I actually have quite a few clients that have partners that don't believe in the spiritual side whatsoever or any part of it, and that's totally okay too. That's definitely a thing. So I thought it might be interesting to get his perspective on things. People often ask me how he takes it or what he thinks of things, so here is your answer. Welcome. How are you feeling?
Yeah, good. Very good. Thanks for having me in my own home.
We are upstairs and the kids are downstairs. They are busy with food and Netflix, but we never know what's going to happen. So we'll see how we go. But I guess to start out with the interview, you're in an interview. That's exciting. Is this your first interview?
What do you mean?
Like, you've never interviewed you before. I don't think they have.
Oh, okay. That's in us. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, first interview, I reckon.
Yep.
So I guess for some context, to be able to let the listeners know what it is that you do. So as in, what is your background work-wise?
Yeah, so just hospitality, like the whole way, I guess, since I was 15. Setting up tables at a wedding reception, then working like waiting tables, and then went on to cafe work, and just haven't really stopped since then. Owned a couple of cafes, and now run a like roadside coffee van.
Yes. So that's in terms work-wise. What about your hobbies? Like, what are you into?
Yeah, hobbies-wise, I guess, being hospitality, there hasn't been a lot of time for hobbies over the years, but these days, trying to sort it all out, get some time back. But really just, I guess I'm into, like, motorsports and cars and, obviously spending time with family and stuff. And
that's cute.
I like being out in the garden when I get time, but, yeah.
So cars, basically.
Yeah.
Your hobbies.
Yeah.
And what spiritual practices would you say you undertake?
0. Yeah.
So, yes, nothing really along the lines at all of, I guess, what I would be into.
I've had a lot of sage smudged in my face. But.
Yes, he's been sage before. I have practiced Reiki on you.
Yes.
And what else? He did try to meditate once. I had my Meet Your Spirit Guides meditation. He was quite excited by that. And I was like, oh, he's actually interested to give it a go. And he put the headphones in, was lying next to me, and I looked over because I heard him snoring about 2 minutes into it. So obviously he didn't quite get to meet his spirit guides because he fell asleep. And then you haven't tried it since. But anyway, So basically not into the spiritual side of things. If people have listened to other podcast episodes, I have spoken a bit about how I've always sort of been this way. But in the beginning of my abilities coming out, I didn't really know how to control them. And there were times when I just knew things were coming up in our relationship, I guess. And we've been together for 19 years now this year. So high school sweethearts since the end of year 12. I guess, can you go back and think about what your first impressions or thoughts were when I started opening up to you about my abilities, which was quite early on in the piece?
Yeah, I think it was literally weeks into it, wasn't it? When, maybe even before we were together, there was times where you had visions and premonitions and stuff like that. And I think... I just remember thinking that was pretty cool, and a lot of my mum's side of the family are quite spiritual as well, so it wasn't anything new to me. I don't think I freaked out or anything like that. I just think it was cool, and and I think early on into our relationship, when I asked you to officially be my girlfriend. I think you were like, oh, you obviously said yes, why wouldn't you? But,
oh my God.
But, have I got time to tell a story?
I think that was going to be another question, but you
okay.
can tell. I was going to ask you that another, but you can tell it now.
Oh,
Go
okay.
for it.
Yeah, well, there was that time, and I asked you out, and you're like, quick, grab my phone, and grabbed your phone, and there was a previous written note in there about the date, which was November 20th.
Oh, good job.
November 20th, the day I get asked out.
Yes.
I think that's what it was. Yeah, and I just remember thinking that was pretty fancy and pretty cool. And it actually blew my mind, and I did tell people about it. Yeah, no, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing, I suppose, and I'm very lucky because I do remember the first time I had told you about a dream that had happened and then it had come true. And I remember telling you about it and you didn't really bat an eyelid in terms of think it was strange or
Yeah,
anything?
no.
Yeah, just sort of...
I think I was right into Charmed, the TV show at the time, so nothing really kind of freaked me out.
Yeah, Charmed brought a lot of people into the woo-woo. So basically that story about, when you asked me out, I had already previously had a dream about it. So at this point I was having a lot of dreams but not really being able to do it on cue, like while awake or conscious.
Yeah.
And I did have a dream about the date that you were going to ask me to be your girlfriend.
Yep.
And I put in my phone.
Yep.
So yeah, that's just a roundup of that story, in case people don't understand. I guess a couple of years ago, so that's early on in the piece. Are there any other stories, I suppose, because people love stories. People always say to me, I love it when you tell lots of stories on your podcast.
Oh.
Is there any other stories you can think about of times over the years where there might have been something that I said that, has come true or whatever before I actually fully stepped into like this space?
Oh, you're asking me to use my memory, which isn't great. I guess there was things like when I proposed. I'm pretty sure you knew I was going to propose and you knew what the ring was going to look like. Was that what was going on?
Yeah.
I
didn't know you were going to propose. I'd seen the ring in a dream, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I'd had a dream about a ring that you had, and I didn't put two and two together at the time that you were going to give it to me, but I'd seen the one big one in the middle and two on the side, and I remember I explained it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you were like, and this is before you'd proposed, and I didn't realise it was because you were going to propose to me, and I just remember your face now that I look back on it, was like just dropped.
Yeah, because it's like you kind of take all the surprise out of things, don't you?
Yeah, but I didn't realise still. It was still a surprise. I didn't realise it was going to be a proposal. I just remember you leaving, because we were sitting down waiting for fish and chips, and I remember you got up after I said that and walked out, and I was like, okay. And you'd actually gone and called your mum, and I remember you told me afterwards, you were like, shit. Like,
she knows, yeah.
Oops, I just said, sorry, shit on the podcast. Kids. Don't go back and don't listen. So there was that, and then I guess in terms of trying to surprise me with presents and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, that never worked. I think you're like, I'd have something wrapped or something in the closet, and you would start saying how you're going to go out and buy such and such because you've been thinking about it. And I think it would just be on your mind, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go get it, I wouldn't mind that. I think I'd like that, and I'm like, oh, I've already got it. Like, don't go do that. I think there was a couple of times where I had to say, don't buy it. Don't buy that. I've already got it for you.
That's the thing. I don't think that happens so much now, because at the time I didn't know how to turn it on and off. It would just randomly happen. But at this point, I don't feel like that's happened for a long time, because I'm so good at shutting it down now. I'm good with my boundaries. Yep. Yeah, you can surprise me if you want to.
Yeah.
I'm open to surprises now. I haven't got one for a while. So I guess a couple of years ago when I first told you that I wanted to really hone in on, because I'd been feeling the nudge for a while to develop my abilities, and this was just before I did my first big spiritual program, and I told you about it. I was a bit apprehensive. Like, first of all, anyone that stepped out of the spiritual closet, most people, not everybody, some people are awesome and brave, but do get a little bit frightened behind thinking about what is everybody going to think, I was worried that I was going to get too super weird and then no one would be able to relate to me. Why are you laughing? But when I first told you that that's what I was going to do, or I was asking your opinion on it, what were your thoughts back then?
Well, I think the years leading up to that played a big part as well. Like, you were all over the place. Like, you were kind of doing this, doing that. And you seem to be building up to something that I don't really, I never really kind of thought like what it was going to be, but you could just see you were building momentum, and I think you were gathering supporters and skills, I guess. And then when you finally said something about it, and so I still remember that I got the tingles, and I was just like, yes. I was like, yes, that's it. This is it. But no, like, I always hoped that you'd get into doing that, and that's
really?
Yeah. Well, that was you know, you always had that skill, and it was like, I don't know, I just remember thinking, like, if I could do that, I'd be doing cool stuff, you know, like predicting the future and all that stuff. But I was excited. I was like, oh, this could be it, because you had been a little bit all over the place.
Flip-floppy.
Yeah, you'd kind of I feel like you'd get comfortable in a job and be like finally making some money, and then you'd kind of move on.
Like, this is not it.
Yeah, so it was
because I was always searching for like that thing, and I'm really heart-led, I suppose, as well. Once I am sort of done with something and I feel like I've got all my lessons that I need from it, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm done with that.
Yep.
But with this, it feels totally different. Like it just feels like this will be the core of, I guess, continuing moving forward, whatever I end up changing into. But I've told a lot of people about that story, how you like just got like full body tingles everywhere and goosebumps or shivers or whatever.
Yep.
And lots of people are like, oh, your husband must be so intuitive as well, like, because that's a big like bit of a woo-woo thing too. I guess you are.
I think, and I think mainly I was excited that you were going to do something that you really liked and enjoyed.
That's nice. And when I fully decided, like, this is what I was going to do, and I fully stepped out of the closet, were you ever worried for me and about what other people might think? Because, like, I was worried about myself.
Yeah.
Were you worried?
Not really. I think, like, you had, at that point, you'd had a reading and saying that you were someone was going to stab you in the back, or you were going to lose...
Probably going to lose some friends.
Yeah, and things like that. I think that worried me a little bit, but at the same time, well, it was like... And the way I kind of feel as well was, you know, we've got each other and we've got our kids and stuff, and it's like, as long as we're all right, then, you know, if someone else doesn't want to be a part of it, then they don't have to be. That's their choice. And yeah.
Yeah. What about, like, obviously there's people out there that just think that what some people like us do, like, I'm a con artist, it's not real, I work for the devil. What would you do if someone said something like that?
I think, like, these days I'd just brush it off, kind of thing. I think you take me back to my mid-20s, I'd probably, I'd get pretty, maybe a little bit Red Ross, you know, and go a bit crazy. But, I think these days, like I said, it's like people have their own opinions. For some reason, they feel like they need to voice them more than what I care to hear. But, I don't think we've had too much to worry about all that.
Well, not to our face.
No.
I don't know what people say behind our back, but I'm just saying at some point someone's probably might say something to you.
Yeah.
I just hope that you just won't worry about, won't just brush it off.
Yeah, I think mainly people are fairly nice these days and courteous about not saying things to your face. And...
were you ever worried about our kids because of what I do? Because I have worried about this.
In terms of...
Well, I have worried that someone might find out, like, what I do and then not let their child be friends with, like, our kids.
Oh, yeah.
Type thing because of that.
I think we've said to our eldest a couple of times, like, maybe don't mention this, and, you know, you don't go around telling everybody this and stuff. Like, you don't want them preaching it, but at the same time, it's like they're only young, kind of thing. And I think things are different these days as well. Like,
but I have had someone block me on social media a bit once they found out what it was that I do.
Oh yeah, you get religions and stuff that kind of.
Yeah. So you'd never thought about it till now?
Not really. Well, like I said, we have had that discussion with our eldest about maybe not mentioning certain things, but at the same time, it's like, well, I feel like our eldest, like from when she was quite young, like she was doing some crazy stuff and things were happening in her room and all that, and you're like, whoa, this one's got something going on.
And I don't
mean
like, as in when we say don't mention things, it's not as if like I'm trying to hide this, because I'm not. I've got a podcast, it's all over my social media, like I'm not trying to hide it. It's more just along the terms of sometimes when she's feeling overwhelmed, like I can tell you guys, because you're my listeners, I would explain to her about the white light bubble and how to put herself in a protective bubble from her angels. And, you know, we've just said to her, like, don't go around telling everybody about your white light bubble because you don't know what other people might think about it.
Yeah.
So that's basically all that we've said. It's not like don't tell everybody what mum does, because I don't mind myself.
No.
But I have worried at points about, you know, possible repercussions for our children. But then I suppose there's so many other things that you could be doing in your life that the kids could possibly have repercussions from as well.
Yeah.
But has there been any point in my spiritual journey where I would tell you about something that I've done or that I've seen or that I've experienced and you thought like, oh man, you're just like batshit crazy, or I'm just losing my mind, or it just seemed a bit much for you? Like, have you ever gone,
No, not at all. I don't think I have I?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
No, definitely not.
Well,
definitely not.
Good to know, because sometimes I wonder about myself and I think, some of the things I see, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I could literally be committed.
Oh, no, like when you were starting to do your mirror work and stuff and you were saying, you know, how your face was changing and all that, and I was like, I want to do that. I was like, that sounds fun.
Kind of. It's a bit nerve-wracking at the beginning, but then you get used to it. Have you ever felt a little bit intimidated by what I do or my business?
As in, like, because it's such a masculine...
No, just like, I don't know, like, have you ever thought...
You're the man of the house now.
No, I already am the man of the house. What are you talking about? No, I'm just like, I don't know, some people get... there are some partners that I've heard of, this is the reason why I'm asking, that feel demasculated, like say their partner starts to do well at work or...
Oh, no.
You know, yeah.
No. Well, you've always been addicted to work and... I think we both are as well. So it's not really a thing that I've ever really thought of. I think I've always just wanted, like even after we had our first child and you were like, oh, I want to get back to work. And I was like, oh, I'll be the stay-at-home dad. And then I think I tried on the weekend or something and I think you got home and there was pumpkin and watermelon everywhere and I don't think I had any pants on. And I was like, I
tried one weekend.
Yeah, I was like, I just need 5 minutes to poo. I was like, come on.
Oh my God.
Just need a break.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah, so, like I know you've always wanted to... I know you've always wanted to work and, no, that doesn't bother me at all. I think, and like this, that's pretty easy to kind of, you can do work from home and these days as well online and everything. So I don't think it's really you working is taking anything away from the house or the family or anything.
That's nice
like
to know, because I kind of wonder sometimes.
No, it's like and these days it's good to be able to spend a bit of extra time with the kids as well. Like when
for sure.
When you are doing your thing.
Yeah, like you got to take him to Halloween trick-or-treating last night and I had to work.
Yep.
Yeah,
for sure.
I know you kind of already answered this, but have you ever been interested in trying anything for yourself? Obviously, you said mirror gazing was one of the things that sounded pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Like, it's all interesting. Like,
what would you want to try? Like meditation or?
Yeah, I don't know because I don't know what happens when that all happens. So it's like, I just even some of your programs and stuff that you do, you know, and like hearing what other people review about it and all that. It's like, I don't feel like I'm missing out, but it's like I wouldn't mind if I had some time to do it at some point.
Oh, that's nice. I'd never do that.
No,
I'll have you in my next program.
Who's going to look after the kids?
Then you don't know. Yeah, that's okay. I didn't realise that. So, what's the reason why you won't let me read for you? I've done mediumship on you. I've practiced mediumship. You let me do that.
Yep.
So basically, when I first started jumping into mediumship, I tried reading for you and tapped into your grandparents and went for memories before I was around.
Yep.
So, because obviously we've been together for 19 years, so there's a fair bit that I knew, but tried to go for memories prior to that and did pretty good, yeah.
I think you did well. It's hard to know because my memory is very limited.
Yeah, it's hard to get some validation.
We should probably let everyone know my memory is not great. But
yes, so I've done Reiki on you. You've let me do that.
Yep.
But psychically, you won't let. People are always like, "Have you done readings for your husband?" Like da da da, and you won't let me tap in, which I'm fine with that. I'm not worried by that because I know you pretty well anyway. Like I feel like our energies are intertwined. But why won't you let me read?
It's not that I've got anything to hide or not, but you know, What?
What do you mean?
No, I'm just explaining that
Yeah.
it's not that I have anything to hide, but like I've had, where we've gone and had readings before and stuff like that, and like things that come out, and it's like it's just things that are in my own head that I don't even really like, and
Shadows.
yeah, I guess, and
Shadow work.
doubts and all that stuff,
Fears.
and fears and all that, and that gets brought up, and I just kind of get broken straight up off the bat, and it's just like, oh, I don't really need you seeing me in that kind of situation. And
Vulnerable.
yeah,
Vulnerable.
and having to kind of, it's like, oh, I think, it's hard enough for me to deal what's in my head. It's like, I don't really need you having to
But I
try
could be able to help you.
Yeah, I don't need fixing.
Oh,
Here we go.
No.
Is this why you love me? You want to fix me?
No. So it's not that you need fixing. It's more just along the lines you're not supposed to push down shadows. They're brought up so that you can actually deal with your own stuff.
Yeah.
Is more the case. And yeah, what I do, that's kind of what I do, which is I set the intention before every reading, which would be to only get information that you need to hear and that you are ready to hear. So does that mean I can read for you now?
We'll see.
I'm actually not really bothered by it. But then it also makes me sad to think that you might have some shadows in there that could be dealt with rather than just pushing them down deep.
Just bottle it up.
No, I don't think that's the right way. That's not the right way to go about it. But so for those people that don't know, because those of people that are listening, what exactly are your spiritual beliefs, I suppose? Like, do you follow, I guess just for people who don't know, do you follow anything in particular or just quite open-minded?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty open. I think I mentioned earlier, like, my mum's family was quite spiritual, and there was always something going on with all that, but, raised religiously, and I think it's as years go by, it all kind of changes, and you do kind of start to believe in different things, and it's not so what's the word, not by the book, I guess, kind of thing, and you start thinking about other things. I think I'm pretty open-minded. Yeah, and you were just saying though, or you have said to me before, that the only bit that sometimes you find hard to keep up with is the whole starseed thing. What's the starseed thing again?
The starseed thing was the galactic beings, or the fact that we haven't been just on Earth. Like
the Plantarkians.
Yes, so that was the word that he brought up to me, which he was like, what am I again? Plantarkian. But for those of you that are listening who are Starseed fans, you would know Plantarkian's not an actual Starseed. He's mixed together Mintarkian, which is my Starseed origin, and Pleiadians, which is his Starseed origin. And he's kind of brought them together and made a Plantarkian. But that was one thing that you were sort of interested in.
I always say, especially these days with like so much happens in the world, and it's like, what's going to happen next? This is crazy. But I just reckon aliens are coming.
They're already here. Actually,
I'm not wearing a foil hat, just for everyone listening. But yeah, I just reckon it'll be awesome when it's like fully legit, like they're on the news, and just it's just accepted that they do
are
exist.
a thing. Yeah. So that's quite open-minded. Just by the way, there are some people probably even listening that's too much for them. So I guess so. We know that your beliefs are quite similar to mine and very open-minded. But what I wanted to sort of round the episode up saying is that to other couples who share different interests, or maybe your partner just doesn't get or believe in spirituality at all, like what advice do you have for those couples, I suppose?
Yeah, well, I don't think I'm, in any place to give people advice.
No, it's not giving it. Sorry, not giving advice. Your opinion. Let's say opinion.
All I know is our relationship, and like we just try and support each other, and just try and show like a little bit of interest in what we do, and I can't really. I don't know. Like,
Well, just, I mean, the thing that I think you sort of have said to me before is that you don't, just because you don't understand what the other person does or you don't really have interest in it doesn't mean you don't care about the actual person.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And I always try and, not that I'm not interested, but yeah, I do. I try and show interest and I always ask you lots of questions and just try and keep the conversation going as well, you know, like I think that's all a relationship is support and communication. And
yeah, and you were saying as well, if we both like the same things, it'd probably get like a bit boring anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's it. If we shared the one hobby kind of thing together, and then you'd go out, you'd spend a day doing that, and go home and be like, I don't know. Well, that was today, and it's like, or is it? I guess we go off and do separate things, and kind of come back and debrief on the matter,
right.
And kind of, I guess it doubles up everything. We can. I guess I feel like I experience a little bit of your life by not doing anything, but just by listening to what you're doing. And I like to think you experience a bit of my life and what I do.
So listen and support, really. Yeah. Or at least pretend to listen or try to listen.
Yeah,
because
correct.
I try when it comes to like car stuff especially, I try, but I just can't absorb a lot of it. Like I think I said to you before, I don't actually know what cars you own that are in our driveway. I probably couldn't tell you. I think one's a Ford.
Yeah.
Hang on. Is the other one a Holden?
Yeah.
And that's all I know. Is it a Holden sedan?
No.
No, okay. No. Never mind. See, this is what I mean. Like, I do listen to you, but it doesn't stick in my brain like Plantarkians, clearly. Like, that's your thing that you've just made up an entire race.
I'm trying.
Yeah, same. I know that there's a Ford and a Holden, that's all right, and your coffee van, obviously, but I just don't get it. Like, so I guess the message behind the day is you don't have to be the same, you don't have to like the same things or even fully know what types of cars are in the driveway, the passions or what it is that your partner does or your friend even, and it goes both ways as long as you don't allow it to come between you and you're just happy that they are happy. Then that is the main thing. You can be supportive without understanding or even having to fully get into any of it. Like I am not into any of that car stuff. Like you talk about it and I do try to listen.
And that's it.
But I know what colour they are. Like your cars.
Do you?
Yeah, one's silver.
Yeah.
Is it called Atlas Grey?
No, that's the other one.
That's the other one.
That's an older one, yeah.
And what's the other one? White.
White.
Yeah, see?
Okay.
Got sort of right. Doesn't always mean they don't care. We're all different and I guess we don't have to like the same things to get along. So I think we have a good connection on the other things. There's lots of other things or similarities that we like, things that we like doing together.
Yeah.
Like watching TV.
Yeah. And What?
What else do we do
riverboat
together?
Gambling trips and,
That's not true. I don't even know what that is. What's a riverboat gambling trip?
I don't know. I saw it on a movie.
Talking about children. Talking about the kids, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else do we do? Go for drives, eat dinner together.
We do a lot.
Go out.
We do a lot. We have little getaways, little day trips and walks. And, I think with the kids at their age is kind of helping them experience a bit of the world as well and the life. And
so those things we enjoy together.
Yeah.
Any last words for anyone, I guess, anything else you wanted to add in?
No, you just gotta be yourself and be a good person, and if you're doing what makes you happy, you just kind of got to keep doing it.
Yeah, that's good.
As long as it's not destroying other people's
lives
or careers or anything like that.
As long as it's coming from a good place.
Yeah.
That's probably what I mean. So I guess thank you for your insight on being married to a psychic when you're not necessarily into practicing spirituality yourself. I just had so many people ask me about that and your opinion, so I kind of thought it would be good to get you on. So
thanks for having me. I hope it did well.
Thanks for being you, was what I added on my notes of the last of it, so I felt like I need to say it.
Yeah, well, what can I say?
Is that it?
I
Are you going to say anything nice to me? No reciprocation.
I haven't written anything down, no.
But I'm waiting.
Oh, but I love you. And yeah, you're doing a good job.
Thanks,
and
babe.
yeah, I hope people enjoy listening to the podcast and all that.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you later. Hope you enjoyed Macca. I'm June Mack, and I wanted to thank you for tuning in to the Fully Woo podcast. I can't tell you how grateful I am to have had you here. You can find me over at junemack.com or on all social media as Ms. June Mack. If you enjoyed today's episode, it would mean so much if you could please subscribe, rate, review, and share. Thank you so much for listening. It's been a privilege to be in your ears.